I grew up with no money, I'm a single mom, live in a basement apartment. The minute I sold a little bit of drugs and had a little money in my pocket and a little bit of respect from some people, that probably was subconscious motivators. So I started selling drugs and then eventually was able to get clean from drugs. I was more addicted to money than the drugs. I lost everything. Only thing I had coming home was my dog, which my ex-girlfriend looked after while I was gone the whole time. A lot of people don't work on their own self-growth and everything before they try and get into a relationship. Your relationship's not gonna go well if you don't know who you are. Hey, my name is Adam Mcknight. People call me 50. I'm a tattoo artist downtown Toronto. I have a shop called Fts.ink, and I also have a podcast called Ink Who Dis, where I tattoo interesting people, athletes, comedians, everybody that you might want to get to know while tattooing them during a live tattoo session. If you want to check it out, it's on YouTube at Ink Who Dis, and it's also on Instagram at Ink Who Dis.
Welcome back, guys. This is episode number 2. We have our guest here today. He's a person who I just got to know recently through a mutual friend of mine. He's a tattoo artist. He's a person who came over a lot of adversity. He went inside the system, and he's a living example of what you could change your life around by learning something and making the best out of your situation. I would let him introduce himself. His name's Adam Mcknight. Adam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Chilling. So I got to get to know you through my friend, Nikki.
Yeah, shout out Nikki.
Yeah. She told me to have you on here. Well, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming. Who is Adam Mcknight? Tell us.
So currently I'm a tattoo artist. I own a tattoo shop downtown For the Soul, Fts.ink. Learned how to tattoo in prison. So that's probably one notable origin story.
Okay. Before we get into that, like, what were you doing before you went into prison? So let's talk about Adam Mcknight as a kid growing up. Where did he grow up?
Okay.
What did he do leading up to the events to prison? And we'll get into prison after.
So I grew up in a little town called Georgetown. I don't know if you know where that is.
We all know where that is.
Okay, yeah. Little Brampton's little brother, pretty much. So if you don't know
or how about I used to call Georgetown where the Quakers went when the brown people took over Brampton. How about that?
100% is definitely known as somewhat of a racist town, and I'm pretty sure that Georgetown coined the term Bramladesh because they were
I'm sure
very upset with Brampton at the time. But
I grew up in Brampton.
Okay, yeah. So Georgetown come a long way. It's not quite what it was before, but growing up, definitely some racism there. Definitely had a chip on their shoulder towards Brampton. So I grew up there. I played hockey growing up. I had a pretty typical Canadian childhood, raised by my mom, single mom. My dad was around, but I lived with my mom. My mom passed away when I was 15. After a very lengthy illness. She was sick for 6-7 years with cancer. And that's probably when my life kind of took a left turn. And just trying to like escape reality as a teenager after going through a tragedy. I got into drugs, partied a lot, was kind of homeless for a while.
Wow. How many years were you homeless?
I wouldn't say years, because it was like, at that time, I'd be couch surfing on people's like friends' couches, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Some nights I obviously didn't have a place to stay, but I wouldn't say like years homeless. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I'd say maybe maybe a total of a year of not really having like my own place. You know what I mean? Okay. And like couch surfing on friends and like, sometimes not being able to find a place to stay. So sleeping in parks and stuff like that in Georgetown.
And how old were you at that point?
15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah, right after my mom passed.
And then what happened after?
After that, just being in, trying to escape reality and kind of being in like the counterculture in drug scene and stuff like that. I started selling drugs to kind of, I wouldn't say to feed my addiction, because I wouldn't even say I was addicted at the time, but I was definitely into drugs. So I started selling drugs, and then eventually was able to get clean from drugs. I was more addicted to money than the drugs. You know what I mean?
You were snorting your own supply?
Pretty much for the first little bit, yeah. Okay. I was mostly like coke and like party drugs and stuff like that. But yeah, eventually just decided that I did not want to be that anymore, and I was already selling. So yeah, I was able to get clean, but I continued to stay in the drug game for years after that. So
How many years did you do that for?
15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost 15. Yeah.
And you never got caught?
I got caught with little things. I mean, I got caught with small cases, and then I had a really good lawyer. Ended up beating some cases. I got a grow up, got raided. I beat that case. I got some small drug cases. But before all that, I did some like young offender time
Okay.
as like a 16, 17-year-old.
How's young offenders like?
Way different than it is now.
Okay.
So young offenders system now is more like the foster system, or almost like group homes. Back then they were putting us in adult jails.
Okay.
Like I went to Barton Street Jail in Hamilton.
Okay.
But they had like
I know where that is.
They had a range.
Oh, they
a
had a
couple
range.
a couple ranges for young offenders, but you're in an actual jail. You know what I mean? Like jail cells, tray hatch, everything like that.
What was your term? What was your sentence?
I was in and out for like a week here, 2 months there. They weren't like long. They were petty stuff as like a youth. It wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah. Okay. And then so 15 years you were doing that, and what happened to the big charge or whatever?
Eventually I got raided in my late 20s, and I got a drug charge, trafficking. I got 21 months for that. Did 13, as if anyone knows the system, you don't do your whole time, you do 2/3 of your time.
As long as it's good time.
Exactly, yeah. So
And how did they determine good time? I always was interested in understanding that. Like,
it's behaving yourself within the system.
okay, but what if there's a fight in jail and you have to defend yourself? What is that considered in jail?
So it depends. So there's some racism within the system. So being white, I had a little bit of an advantage. I probably got treated a little bit better than a lot of people in there, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
I got in a couple fights, and it didn't affect my good time. You pretty much have to be like a menace for them to take some time away. You got to be like fighting all the time.
And who charges you in there? Correctional officers charge you?
Yeah.
They actually charge you?
I don't know if they charge you, because I never got charged, but I never had any good time taken away. So I don't know how that works if you do get it taken away. So
It's a good question though. Like
No,
I
no,
always
for
wondered.
sure.
I always wondered.
there's no court system. There's no defending yourself. There's no, you know what I mean? Like you don't have like a trial where they're like, this is what you did, this is the evidence. They can just say, this is what we're doing, and take your time away. I'm pretty sure.
And the time that you got like, was it you went through a trial?
No, I ended up I just took a plea bargain.
Why'd you take a plea?
I was caught.
Yeah, but if you went to trial, what would have happened?
Probably would have got more time. I had a really good lawyer at the time. Believe me, it was smarter.
He told you?
It was smarter to take the plea for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So basically they gave you 21 months, you said?
Yeah, 21 months. Yeah.
And you did 13 months?
Yeah.
And that was in what jail?
Mostly in Maplehurst.
Okay.
At the end of it, I got caught fighting the guy that ratted me out. Ended up on my range.
Oh my God.
And I fought him twice, and the second time they caught me and sent me up to what's the one up north? Penetang.
Okay.
So for the end of my sentence, I got just sent.
Penetang is like white boy jail, right?
Yeah.
It's all white
Penetang machine. It's all white boys. Yeah.
I think I did one of my, just to tell you, like back in the day, I know we were speaking off camera. When I was younger, I wanted to be a correctional officer at one point. And I did my testing and everything. I did both provincial testing and federal. So my federal was in Kingston Penitentiary.
Okay, yeah.
I did it back in 2010.
Okay, yeah, before it shut down.
Before it shut down, yeah. I was at the college there.
Okay, yeah.
They had me situated up there. I did all my tests, and then I turned down the job because just the stuff I saw in prison. You know, I was like, I saw correctional officers becoming inmates. I saw all sorts of stuff. Like Paul Bernardo was there. Russell Williams was there. If you know Russell Williams is?
I don't know that one.
The Canadian pilot that was killing that was flying the prime minister.
Yes.
And he was up there, and my dad always used to tell me, he's like, before you choose a career, like look into something that you would actually see yourself doing for the rest of your life, and see the guy that's done it for 30 plus years, see what kind of condition he's in. And I just saw these correctional officers dead beat, like just empty. There's no life. And I don't blame them. Like you're in the prison, and then. Prior to doing the corrections testing, just to give the full story, I actually worked as a guard assistant at a female prison in Kitchener.
Oh, okay.
Grand Valley Institution.
Or Grand
Valley. It's the biggest.
Milton,
apparently, I don't know the stats, but back in the day, it was the biggest female prison in North America.
I thought it was the only female prison in Ontario.
In Ontario, but it's the biggest in North America.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I did about a year there. I worked there, and my job was to assist correctional officers with their work. And then when Corrections Canada was hiring, federal corrections was hiring, I did their testing.
I didn't even know there was a corrections assistance.
Yeah. They it's like how do I say it? It's those commissioner guards that come and help them with stuff. They need our assistance in that prison. They needed it because you got to understand this is the biggest female prison, and a lot of times like petty stuff that goes on with these females.
It's catty as hell.
There you go.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
they had us there too, and they wanted a certain amount of men and women. So it was me and 3 girls, and we had our supervisors as well. And I did 1 year there, and just going to work, bro, like going to work at that prison, felt like I'm an inmate. I would do 8-hour shifts.
Yeah, it would be depressing.
Bro, I would, when my shift would end, I would run to the parking lot. I have a picture on my phone. I'm going to put it up later. You guys can probably see it when I used to work there. I used to have this like souped up Honda. And bro, I used to run to my car. I used to run. Even in the breaks, I used to run. Like, so they give you like 2 breaks in the 8-hour shift and you get to go out. But even when you're going out and in, you're going through the whole security process again. They're patting you down like you're somebody, you know?
I know what you mean,
You got the clearance. It was just, it's like, what is this? I did it. I don't know. I was young. You know, when you're young, you try out things. I went that route, and I saw, like, imagine, this is a federal female prison where, like, there's, I don't know what the female life sentence is, but it's females that murder females in there.
No, for sure. They get a life sentence, too. They can get 18 to life, 15 to
but
life,
I think they get
25
lesser.
to
They
life.
get lesser.
They probably do, but they're still doing
100% it gets lesser.
Yeah.
But their life is not the same as what dudes get.
I'll just tell you that almost.
Well, look, Carla Homoka's out.
Almost.
And Paul Bernardo's
but
in.
she didn't get a life sentence.
But you get what I'm saying.
No, for sure.
She wasn't there. She wasn't there too.
They definitely get treated better, or like.
Yet we're misogynists.
No, for sure. They definitely get lighter sentences and stuff like that, for sure.
Look, it was so long ago. Like I was 21, and you know, I remember when I turned down the Kingston job, bro. I was like 21. It was like $100,000 job, like at federal corrections, right?
No, for sure. And back then it would have been
a lot of money.
was way more.
It was a big thing, right? And all my friends were like, bro, they're like, yo, you're leaving this. I remember driving back from Kingston. Like I used to have this 2-door Golf, VR6, blue. I remember standard. I remember driving. I was so much full of mixed emotions. I was like, did I do the right thing or did I do the wrong thing? And I was like, I don't know, you know. And I always believe, like in our thing, we have faith. We always believe. I don't know how many Muslims you came across in prison. I'm sure you have.
I know a lot.
We're pretty strong in our faith.
I did Ramadan 1 year.
Nice, good for you, man. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So in our faith, it's like whatever is predestined for you, you have to accept. And I just had this feeling that, you know, God's telling me like, this is not for you, bro.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely go with your instincts.
Thankfully today, I meet some of the guys that took the job. One of the guys in my boxing gym, he's one of the correctional officers. One of the guys that helped me set up the setup actually is a correctional officer.
Okay.
Yeah, and bro, they're like, bro, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? Looking back, like being in
it's a
construction, being in
soulless
sales,
job for sure.
right? So I was like, okay. But at that time, it's like you look short term. You're like, oh, it's a government job. I'm 21. I think I was in federal.
Pension
I'll
benefits.
pull up my
stuff.
emails. I was the youngest guy in that roster that got hired.
Okay.
Like the next guy was like 30 plus. I was 21, and they're willing to take a chance on me. But I beat all their testing. I scored really high on the written test. I was a smart kid, but I don't know. It was just when I was there, I was like, man, I was thinking about a lot of things. I'm like, I don't want this.
No, for sure.
But anyways, this podcast's not about me. I know we took a side turn there.
No.
But the thing is, that's a little bit about my story. I know.
Yeah.
So you were talking about some guy ratted on you and stuff. So I want you to tell the viewers like a little bit more about the drug game. How is there any honor in that game like they talk about, or is it all full of rats and snitches? And because you know what it is. Like for me, I don't have no respect for snitches, no matter what they are, whether it's a husband snitching on a wife or a wife snitching on a husband. Like to me, involving police and all this, like I'm not a fan of snitching. So, and you know what I mean. Like we come from a different cloth. But is there really honor in that drug game life, or is it full of all snitches?
Mostly full of snitches. Obviously, you make some connections over the years. I have some people that, at the end of the day, I probably know would have my back, but the average person, no. Like the guy that ratted on me, I got him into the game and like set him up so he was making tons of money. You know what I mean? Like I changed his life for the better. At the time, obviously not looking hindsight, you know what I mean? But he was a bum, and he ended up making a lot of money and then turning on all his friends when he got into drugs and stuff like that.
So why did he turn on? He got caught?
Yeah,
and the cops wanted to rat him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's a known rat. Like there's no paperwork saying that he ratted on me, but he's admitted it since then.
Oh, really?
Like to other people.
And he's out now too?
Yeah. Well, He's homeless now. He's
Okay.
not doing so well. So.
Well, we wish everybody the best, man.
No,
I wish my enemies the best. Like, that's the craziest thing.
I wouldn't say I wish him the best, but I'm not. I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
But I have people that every once in a while will text me like a picture of him on the side of the road, being like, "Look at where he is now." So it's the only reason why I know how.
Well,
he's
karma
doing.
comes, man.
Exactly.
Karma's a real thing.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't wish any bad upon him, but the universe does, obviously, because he got his karma. You know what I mean?
So anyway, so you did that sentence and then you were out of the game, or what?
So
That's the crazy part. Like, let's talk about that.
I'm gonna tell you that. So my story is literally.
By the way, I'm hearing this for the first time, just for the audience to know. Like, I've never heard
like
this story before.
It seems like it's out of a movie, because when I got the trafficking charges,
Yeah.
part of the sentence was I had to get my DNA taken,
Okay.
and then they ran my DNA. So I did.
So explain to the audience, what is it taking DNA in Ontario? Like,
They come and prick your finger, and they take a sample of your DNA, and then they're gonna run it against their database of all DNA that was collected at any crime scene.
But did they take just your blood or your spit or whatever?
Just my blood. I think it was like a pin drop.
I know some people that had to give more than just the blood.
You might be correct.
Yeah.
I
Because I know somebody that told me, I don't know if it's true, he said he had to give a semen or something.
No,
sure?
well, I'm sure some people do.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have some sexual charges or something like that.
I don't know what he had, but that's what somebody told me.
I could be wrong. But I might have had to give spit, but I'm pretty sure it was just. I might have had a swab or something, but I'm pretty sure it was just a pinprick.
Yeah.
So I did my full sentence. I came home after the 13 months. I was home 2 months, and I went to probation. I had a probation order as part of those charges.
What was the probation order?
It was pretty soft. It was like a year of probation. I had to report, no drugs, no something like that. It's your standard probation.
Just phone call? Like a phone call thing?
No, I had to go in.
Oh, you had to go in?
Yeah, I had to report in person.
Okay. And what was it, like an agency, like a John Howard side?
No, you go to the probation and parole office.
Okay.
And when I went there,
Is that a federal office or a provincial office?
Provincial. That one was provincial at that time. I went.
And what if you miss it?
You're breached.
Really?
Yeah.
But what if you had like a genuine concern to miss it or something that happens?
You gotta give them notice, and depending on how behaved you've been, they might give you.
So you go back inside?
Yeah.
For how long?
Usually 30 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, usually per breach is about 30 days.
Okay. That's crazy, man.
So when I went to my probation, I had 2 detectives pop up out of the back room and surprise me and say that they were charging me with a home invasion from 7 years prior. Like 7 years before I even had the trafficking charges. So I got charged with forcible confinement ×3, 2 firearms charges, all the charges that come with the firearms, like 7 charges per firearm.
And they came and arrested you on the scene.
Yeah.
And your probation office.
Yeah, in the probation office.
Yeah.
And
So you're sitting with the probation officer, and then guys.
yeah, they just pop into the room and
like uniformed or.
Yeah, full uniform, Toronto police, and then drove me downtown. I don't know what station I went to. I think Scarborough. And then informed me that I was getting charged with all like 13.
And did you get bail right away or no?
No.
Really? So you went in.
Yeah.
That day you got picked up, you went in.
Yeah, no bail.
And then what happened there from then onwards? You hired a lawyer?
Yeah, I was trying to fight it for a minute, and then the lawyer was pretty much saying like any other. So what happened was during the struggle, I had cut myself.
Yeah.
Like during the guy was struggling, I cut myself, left a drop of blood at the scene. I forget where, like on a railing or something like that. So they found my blood at the scene, and then years later, when they ran it through the system, it came back as a match. I was talking to my lawyer. He's like, if it was anything else, hair, like anything else, you could have beat it. Blood, there's like almost no chance you beat it. Like you bled at the scene, you were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my hair could go on your shirt, and then you go commit a crime. My hair falls off at the scene. They can't really prove that I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were asking for, it was like 13 years or something like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
13 years.
Yeah. And
13 years, bro.
I got I pled out to a 4-year sentence.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much of the 4 years did you do?
I did like 2, I think. I think maybe 2 and a bit out of that sentence. No, I did 3. I did 3 out of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got picked up, and then you got.
Right. Yeah, for the DNA. So
yeah. So your lawyer said basically what?
You're gonna plea.
Okay. So you plead.
Plea, you get 4 years. And then I got sent to Joyceville to start. If I don't know if you know how the federal prison system works, but you go to like classification. So you go and They figure out your score,
Okay.
which is like how violent you are, how likely you are to listen to conditions and all that stuff. And I got classified as medium.
Okay.
And then from there, I got sent to Collins Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Collins Bay is up north. No, sorry, it's near.
Yeah, Kingston.
Kingston.
Most of the prisons are in Kingston, other than Fenbrook and a few. Beaver
And what
Creek.
year was this?
2016.
So you went in 2016. You went in.
Yeah, I went in 2014 for the trafficking. Again, I only came home for like 4 months, or sorry, 2 months, minus the 2 months I was in for like 4 years altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, you get picked up by cops. You get sent there, and so do you think there was a rat there too?
No.
No?
Even the guy, like, not to get into too much, but the guy who was the victim knew who I was and didn't even tell the police who I was. His wife is the one that said they came in. He didn't even call the police. His wife called the police.
Okay.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so you went in. Now you're in. What happened? So, like, you have a life. You have a rent that you're paying. I don't know if you're.
Yeah,
you
no,
come back. So what happens to your house? What happens to all
everything gone. I lost everything.
Gone. So you just all your stuff is gone.
The only thing I had coming home was my dog, which my ex-girlfriend looked after while I was gone the whole time. So thankfully.
Are you still with her? No,
No,
okay,
definitely not with her. No.
Okay, got it. So basically, so what happens? Like, do you get to see who the real ones are when you go inside?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk more about that? Like,
I cut off over half the people that I talked to before.
Okay.
Like, nobody wrote to me, nobody checked to see if I was okay, no one checked on my family to see, you know what I mean? Like that.
Did anyone come visit you?
A few, like you said, real ones. Like a few people
They came and
definitely
visited
did. Yeah.
How often did they come to visit you?
My grandma was coming like once a month. My dad was coming once every couple months. A couple friends came here and there. It's kind of hard because you only get 2 visits per week, and it's kind of hard to like coordinate everything.
Did you do any time in maximum security? Like you?
No, I never did max. I was in Collins Bay's high medium.
Okay.
And then I was able to, because I was able to behave myself. I don't have gang polys and stuff like that, so it's very easy to just kind of keep to myself. And I ended up on I think it's called 9 block, but it's essentially like a minimum security within the medium security. So I was able to cook my own food.
Oh, nice.
It's like, it's like
So
a
the federal
little bit better.
system is much better than holding cell.
100%.
Like going to Maplehurst is screwed.
So I said this I was on another podcast. Shout out to Handcuff Status podcast. They're like a prison reform podcast.
Okay. In Canada?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're really cool. They were really good to me. I explained this on them. The provincial system is designed to squeeze you,
To break you.
to make you plead guilty or whatever. So yeah, provincial system is way worse.
Even the holding cells, bro.
Yeah. The holding cells are terrible.
They're terrible, bro.
But
They're terrible.
Provincial, they're really. So I wanna use this to call out Bell. Bell is Bell Media. They like to pretend they care about mental health with their Bell Let's Talk.
Yeah.
They have a crazy system. I'm sure. Well, I guess you were only in a holding cell, but it costs like $20 for a 20-minute phone call.
Yeah.
And it's like people's like family going to like debt, trying to like even just pay for the phone bills and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's
And
insane.
they could easily give cheaper phone calls. But Bell takes advantage of the system for sure.
That's sad.
Yeah,
No,
for
holding
profit.
cells. I saw people breaking holding cells, bro.
Oh yeah,
Like in a holding cell, it's cold as fuck.
I saw some of the wildest
Cold,
stuff.
bro. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's a 6x6. You got your toilet right there. But
The bullpens are the worst. 6x6 is a little bit better. If you go into the bullpen, like the big ones, I've seen. Like I was in the Scarborough courthouse in the bullpen, and every day people are getting stabbed. People are getting jumped by 10 other guys. Like it's chaos in there.
So how did they assign the range to you? Like when you go to, let's say you got your federal time, how did they decide where to put you? If you're enjoying the episode so far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Now let's get back into the video.
When you go to federal time, you go to the Joyceville, and I don't know how the point system works, but it's like, have you gotten misconducts in jail? What are your charges? A bunch of different things. Do you have gang affiliations? And then from there, you either go to max, medium, or minimum.
Yeah.
So they sent me to medium.
But when you go to medium, like how did they decide who's your roommate?
So in federal, you don't even have a cellmate.
Oh, you don't?
No. I'm assuming too many people got like killed in the cell over the year because they don't do things for us most times. They do it for them. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're in a cell by yourself. Thank God.
Oh, in federal, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And your toilet's there and everything.
Yeah. It's very similar. Like the rooms.
Do you get soap?
Yeah, and you like
You get soap and toothbrush and all that.
yeah, and federal you can buy way more stuff off a canteen and stuff like that. So
What about showers and stuff? How often do you get that?
so you get it like every day.
Yeah.
The provincial when they go on lockdown.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to ask you. Did I guess you were in the
I was in
federal
a holding cell.
No, I mean for when you were going through your
and testing.
CO kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I always wondered if guards feel bad for they like. So I was in Maplehurst for a year.
Yeah.
If they don't have a
Maplehurst is a nightmare, bro.
they've had so many class action lawsuits against them.
I don't know how they run. Even going to visit somebody there.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that we do here, in part of this program that I'm doing, is we actually go visit some of the men that are inside there for
sure.
charges for that don't have any voice.
Yeah.
So we go and visit these guys out there that got put in there by their
that's really
exes
good.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things we do.
So in provincial, there's like a certain threshold of the amount of guards they need to have on duty for the inmates to be let out of their cells, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Maplehurst actually went through a class action lawsuit because they're locked down more than they're let out.
That's what I'm going to tell you. So just to elaborate about that, every time I try to go visit somebody, bro, it's like always on lockdown. I can't even visit.
So while I was there, there was 1 month in the summer where we were allowed out for like 3 days out of like I'd say like 30. Like out of a whole month, we got out 3 days.
That's insane.
Yeah. And it's just because guards go on vacations, call in sick, whatever it is. But I always just wondered if they feel bad. Like, you know what I mean?
I have a lot of customers. Like, I run a basement renovation business. I have a lot of CEO customers. A lot of them that worked at Maplehurst. Even they're just miserable guys, bro.
Yeah. I don't understand.
It's miserable people. It's a miserable place, bro. Maplehurst
sure.
is miserable.
For sure. That was the worst spot I went to, for sure. Well, I shouldn't say. Yeah, that was probably the worst.
Yeah.
Because Scarborough was a little bit better.
Yeah, Maplehurst, man. It's the worst. It's the worst prison, bro. Like, for us, because we're always there to visit guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I went to, like 6 times before I got to see the guy.
Yeah. No,
And I'm driving from here to like 45-minute drive. And they're so sorry. They don't want to talk. Like, they're so rude.
For sure.
It's
No,
so rude.
for sure. That place is, again, they've had a ton of class action lawsuits. And
But does anything happen?
yeah, the one they won, and people were getting some money. And there's a new one from COVID as well. I don't know what's going on with that one, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like it's just, you know what Maplehurst looks like, the waiting area? It looks like when your flight is canceled and angry passengers.
Okay,
It looks like that. It's like a similar, but imagine in a jail, in a jail setting. Like every time I go there, they're just pissed off people sitting in there, waiting to see their husbands, waiting to see like whatever. And the guard just like, yeah, sorry, lockdown. And then some of them, so they have 2 visits there in Maplehurst. They have a 3 o'clock. And they have a 7 o'clock.
They're supposed to still let you visit when it's locked down too, but sometimes they have like the security concerns.
So Maplehurst has 2 of them, just to let you know, because I learned they have 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and if you want your visit, you have to get there an hour before because you have to shower the prisoner or whatever, take him out or whatever. So people wait there. They wait for 3 o'clock. They say, okay, try for the 7. Then they come for the people are sitting there till 7 and they still don't get the visit.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Bro, that's insane, man.
No, yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like Maplehurst is something else.
Yeah, I would not. There's a sentence side of that too. So that the second part of my first sentence is like it's the sentenced side of Maplehurst, and that place was a little bit better, but Maplehurst in general is trash.
Did you do Toronto South?
No, I never went to the south. I was in the east.
You never went to Toronto South?
No, I never been to the south.
Okay.
I went to the old Toronto South, Mimico. I got weekends when I was 19.
Okay.
For a breach from a young offender probation. But yeah, I got 60 days weekends.
So anyway, so you go inside. What kind of rehabilitation programs are there for you in the federal system? Is there anything out there?
There is. So, but they're not like. They make you do a program no matter what. No matter what your charges are, no matter what you're trying to do, they make you go through some sort of like program, and most of it's like addiction stuff. Even if you're not an addict, it's like most of it's geared towards people who have addictions and stuff like that. Now, give them the benefit of the doubt. It does teach you some life skills. It teaches you like some self-talk kind of thing. They do teach you some stuff.
Okay.
But they don't. People just go through the motions. There's not a lot of like extra programs you can sign up for. We detain people. We don't rehabilitate people, right?
Okay.
So.
And you get access to the gym there. Like, what is the gym like?
Yeah. So the federal system is actually really good for that. There's a Collins Bay, anyways. I can't speak for the other jails, but there's a big weight pit outside.
Yeah. In the winter too.
Yeah.
So you have to work out in the freezing.
I'm outside, like, and I was like almost 200 pounds at that point.
You're 200 pounds.
Yeah,
You look like 160.
I lost like, so my natural weight's like about 180.
Okay.
When I went in,
I'm 186.
I got like way bigger from just working out and like really trying to spend my time correctly.
Yeah.
And then, I was pretty big. And then when I came home after I had my shoulder injury inside, but when I came home, I started to shrink down to my kind of natural weight because life is way busier out here. I don't have the time to just work out nonstop and eat nonstop. And then when COVID hit and when I stopped working construction and switched to like more of a sedentary job, I sat on a stool all day. I lost all my weight and then I lost my appetite and I've shrunk way down. And now I'm working to get it back up because I just started hitting the gym again.
So how do you keep your mental clarity as a man inside? Like what did you do to keep
I worked out nonstop. Like during that, like I might look like I shrunk now, but during the time, all I did was read and work out and draw.
What did you read?
Everything. So it started off with I've always
did you read the Quran?
I haven't. I read some of it, and I had my friend like explain
I'm sure the brothers came to you.
No.
I'm sure the Muslim brothers came to you.
Not really.
Preaching you, no? They didn't come and preach you?
No, but my celly was Afghan in the south. In the east.
What was he in for?
A firearms charge.
Okay.
And he taught me like the pillars of Islam.
Yeah, the 5 pillars.
Yeah, he taught me a few things like that. I did Ramadan with him 1 year.
30 days. You did all 30?
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Good.
Yeah. I have a bunch of my like non-Muslim friends do it all the time out of respect. They love it. They feel like a cleanse. Like, you know how it is. You know that when you fast, the first 5 days are hard.
Yeah.
But after that 5th day, like you feel different, bro.
Luckily, I was already doing intermittent fasting before that. Okay. I started while I was in. I would do 24 hours once a week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was already kind of familiar with fasting.
So you're already living that Muslim life.
Yeah.
So you did Ramadan. Okay. So, but how's the life inside for Muslims? Like, how are they? How's that faith? How's that group of people out there in
it's
prison?
Pretty good. Like especially in the East, like during prayer time, a few of the brothers would go to the back of the range, put down their prayer mats and pray, and everybody was very respectful. Like, hey, shut the fuck up. Sorry, shut up.
Yeah.
They're praying. Everyone was very respectful, quiet down.
And they do the congregation? They do the congregation there? Like the congregation means like they do the prayer where one guy leads it and people pray behind him?
No, I think depending. So like...
what about Friday prayers? Did the Friday prayers happen there? Like Friday is an important day for us.
So they're allowed... Was that called Juma?
Juma, yeah.
So they're allowed... Yeah, so it depends on if it's lockdown and stuff like that. But yes, you're allowed to go down to Friday prayers and go to the... Because, like, as a Christian or a Catholic, you can go to chapel. Yeah. So you go to the mosque, you know what I mean, which is the same room as the chapel. But
and you were religious in Christianity too, or no?
No, I'm not religious. I believe in God, but I have no, like, set religion. I like to learn a little bit of everybody's religion, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, be fully honest. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure, like, the Muslims will always trying to preach to you too, because that's part of who we are. That's just who we are. We always want to save. We always want to save a brother out.
For sure, no.
It's just our thing, right?
Like preach to me as in like.
They always like, hey man, you should learn Islam. You should learn about our religion. No, like basics, even basic stuff, like washing yourself.
They didn't need to because I was already interested, and I'm already asking my celly's name was Asudullah. Yeah. And I was always asking him. I love to gain knowledge of anything, right? So I was already very interested. They didn't really need to like be like, hey, you should learn this, because I'm already like, teach me. Like I'm interested. I'm not gonna become Muslim, but I definitely want to learn. You know what I mean?
That's good, man. Mm-hmm. Any interesting stories with the brothers or no? Like anything interesting or no? Or anything bad?
I would say like the dude who tried to blow up the GO train.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that. No.
Back in like maybe mid 2010s, there was a dude who got caught trying to blow up the GO train beside the CN Tower.
Okay.
And he was in there.
Terrorist guy.
Yeah.
So you got charged with terrorism, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
what's a terrorism charge? Like how long is the sentence for that?
I think he got 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, I think he got 10 years. But I don't know that he like. There was some dudes who wanted to get at him, and you're trying to kill women and kids, kind of thing, you know what I mean? And like he was kind of protected by the Brotherhood. Everyone gets protected by the Brotherhood. Okay. If you have a problem, you become Muslim, so that no one can touch you.
In prison, you're in there, and you know you're coming out. How did you change your life around? I really want to understand what thoughts came to your head as a man of saying, "Hey, man, enough is enough. I want to change my life around. I want to do something about my life. I want to become the best version of myself. I want to come out and be a positive influence." How did that come about?
It was kind of a gradual, I'd say. In the beginning, I thought maybe like I was trying to get bail in the beginning. I'm trying to fight it, all this stuff. Eventually, when I knew I was gonna probably do a lengthy prison sentence, I was thinking like, yeah, like I'm definitely done. Before I kind of got brazen before in my younger days because I kept beating charges. I kept, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I kind of felt untouchable, to be honest. Yeah. And as you
felt like John Gotti.
As you do crazier and crazier stuff and nothing
That's what happened to Gotti, bro. Like, same thing was happening to him. He was beating murder charges.
Teflon Don.
Yeah. And eventually it was over.
So yeah, no, I was like, I kind of like had convinced myself that like I'm good, like you know what I mean, like they're not gonna get me. So when I really realized I was probably gonna do a lengthy sentence, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely done. I don't want to be doing years and years and years in prison. I started reading a lot in the beginning, reading fiction because that's pretty much all they have in there. And then I got tired of reading murder mystery, like Tom Clancy novels and that kind of stuff. And I became the librarian on my range so that I could get the best books for myself to read first. And I started getting all like the self-help books and stuff like that. So like entrepreneurial books, how to win friends and influence people, seven habits of highly successful people, all those like business type books. And from there is when I really got motivated to change. But what really helped me turn my life around is I was bored and I started drawing nonstop.
Okay.
And that's
what were you drawing?
Portraits.
Yeah. I was probably drawing Dragon Ball Z in there.
So I was just for whatever so I read a book called something to do with the right side of your brain. Okay. Long story short, had nothing to do with drawing, but one of the chapters made you draw a self-portrait. Okay. And then the next chapter explained how your brain worked and how your logical side of your brain is trying to make you speed things up, et cetera, et cetera. And then it explained a few things and then said, try and draw a second self-portrait. The second one was like slightly better. And I was just got upset. I was like, this is kind of cool. Maybe I could get good at drawing. So I just, out of boredom, I drew nonstop. Started drawing portraits for like, if you were in there with me and you have a wife and kids and their birthdays coming up, I would draw a portrait of your kid from a photograph for you to send home to your people. Nice. So that's how I started drawing. Didn't think it was going to change my life whatsoever. I was just bored. Yeah. And then when I got to prison, I was already really good at drawing, and one of my friends convinced me to start tattooing.
In the prison?
Yeah, in the prison, yeah.
How do you tattoo in prison? What do they give you?
They don't give you anything. You do it illegally. Okay.
So it's illegal to tattoo in prison?
Yes.
Why is it illegal?
So they used to have a program where they would teach people to tattoo, and like they stripped every single program out of that. You know what I mean? Like, and part of it, people aren't gonna want to hear this, but part of it is the inmates screwing it over for themselves and taking advantage of programs. You know what I mean? So it's probably like a little.
So how'd you learn? How'd you practice?
I just taught myself.
Yeah, but how'd you tattoo? You tattoo somebody in there?
I tattooed my legs first, and then my friend who convinced me, I tattooed him a few times. They're all really bad, and then I just kept getting better.
But what'd you have? What did you get?
So you take apart a CD player, and you know, like the spinning motor in the beginning, that turns into a rotary motor. Yeah. And
and where do you get that? How does that come inside?
So you're allowed. So in prison, you get a box when you first get in. Yeah. You're allowed $1,500 of pre-approved items. You can have a PlayStation, like the original PlayStation.
How do you play? You get a TV in there?
Yeah. So you get it. You have to buy it. You have to buy it. Yeah. But yeah, you get a TV in your cell. Yeah. Nice. You can get a TV.
You watch pay-per-view?
No, but they have.
Do you have an Android box?
No, but they have like movie channels and cable and stuff. Like you have HBO, but you pay for it. Literally out of your prison pay, they take like $12 a month to pay for TV and shit like that.
But what do you mean? Who tops up your prison pay?
No, like you have to work a job. Okay. You either have to go to school or get a job.
In the prison?
Yeah, and it's like you get, I might be off on the numbers, but you're like $27 every 2 weeks for working like 5 hours a day.
Really?
It's nothing.
It's insane.
But yeah, so you can you can get the PlayStation.
But the food is not. The food is free.
The food's free, yeah.
And is the food okay? In the federal?
It's not that good.
I heard somebody telling me that they mix stuff in it. I heard that they mix stuff in it to keep you like with energy levels low and stuff like that. Is that true?
I couldn't tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure they don't admit that they do that. Yeah. Right? But I wouldn't put it past them. But no, the food's trash. Yeah. It's like
trash.
What you would picture on like prison.
Here's the crazy part, bro. In the female prison, they gave them A1 food, bro.
Yeah,
They had better food than normal people do. I'm telling you right now.
So
Back when I was working in the female prison, they had steaks every night. Bro,
Yeah,
they were eating lean steaks.
they get way better. Like even like Maplehurst, the guy's yard is like a courtyard with nothing.
Yeah.
And they get like baseball tournaments and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they literally get to go outside, play baseball, do all this stuff. There's tournaments. Like they get a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they get a lot more rights and stuff.
But I thought
like
we're
that.
equal.
For sure.
I thought we're 50-50 in this
for
world.
sure.
No?
No, definitely not when it comes to the prison system.
Is that why they're trying to ask for prison reform to get these inmates surgeries done? Because that's what they want to enjoy better services?
Yeah. I have no idea.
It's insane, man.
But yeah, no, the women definitely get a lot better
Bro,
conditions.
I'm telling you, in the federal system, I'm not kidding, bro. The inmates were eating better food than I was eating. I was shocked because I was there. I was like, yo, these girls are here for like heinous crimes. You know, stabbing their boyfriend to death, this, that, or the other. And they're living. They're eating steak dinner, bro.
Yeah.
In the federal system, they get TV, they get PlayStation, they get everything. And I don't know how your system was, but the Grand Valley Institution, it's not like a bar. It's not like a cell or anything. So the way they built that prison, just to tell you how the inside is, it's like townhouses.
Oh, wow.
So it's like...
Even if you're max?
I don't know about the max. No, max is not like that. I wasn't assigned the max area.
Okay.
I think... Bro, they had like 3 max cells. That's what I heard. Like, that's it. So how many people can the house in there?
Yeah. Because the men's is similar. Like, camp,
Yeah.
minimum security, is like little townhouses and like little cottages.
Yeah, so in there, it's like mostly townhouses.
Okay.
All townhouses. And it's like you get like 3 roommates living with you. And you get like your own bedroom, bathroom, whatever. And then they get like a shared area, whatever. And yeah, man, like it was like that. It was... And they're still fighting.
No, for sure. They're
still
wild over there.
It was crazy, bro. There's so many fights. These girls would fight like, and mostly just to tell you, like when I was there, and I'm not like nothing to be racist, but it was mostly black and white ladies. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
You see the odd Asian, maybe
No,
the odd
for sure.
triad, the
No,
odd,
for sure,
the
for
odd Mexican, but bro, it was just big white girls and big black girls.
Yeah.
Like literally killers.
It's chaos over there.
Yeah.
Like the men's system's a little bit more like order. You know what I mean? Like we kind of control ourselves. There's like a self-governance kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's its own little.
How many prison fights did you get into?
None in prison.
None in prison?
No.
No fights?
No, not
No
one.
one started a fight with you?
No.
Yeah?
I was blessed. So like I'm Collins Bay is predominantly a lot of Toronto like gang politics. So
Okay.
if you're from a certain neighborhood or whatever, you're gonna have problems.
What's the biggest ethnicity in that one?
It's mostly black.
Black people?
Yeah, I'd say majority black.
So black of what descent? Like Somalian or everything?
So now, yeah, obviously the Somalians, like the Somalian population is growing in the city. So just the sheer number, like the math, you know what I mean? It's nothing to do with them proportionately committing more crimes, but just because there's so many Somalians.
Yeah.
Somalian and Caribbean. So like for the longest time, Toronto was flavored by like Caribbean, like Jamaicans, everything like that. Now it's a little bit more of a mix of like Arab, Somalians, and Caribbean kind of stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So you come out of jail, and you learn tattooing there. How did you start this business? How did that turn into what you're doing today? Tattooing celebrities.
So
when did you come out? So let's
I
get
came
back
home
there.
2018.
Okay, so you came home before COVID. Good.
Yeah, right before COVID.
That was a good year. 2018 was a good year. So what happened? So you come out.
Halfway house. They make you go. They make you go to a halfway house no matter what.
Okay.
Like even if.
So what's a halfway house for the audience? Like what is a halfway
It's like a
house?
foster home. It's like a group home for adults.
Okay.
It's
And it's state funded.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They make you go.
So you can't
there.
go back to a normal house right away.
Even if you got money, even if you could afford, even if you have family, there's very rare circumstances where they'll let you go home.
So this is for every federal inmate, basically.
Yes, when you're on your parole still.
Yeah, so this is when you do 2 years after, right? Like if you're doing 2 year time and after not for people that are like that do Maplehurst, like they can go
you
back.
go to Maplehurst, you go home. They kick you right out the front door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But even the way they kick people out, like I can
it's
tell
crazy.
you, bro. And I don't know how much I can talk about this because I still have a trial coming. But bro, every holding cell I was in, bro, when it's time to release, like the next morning you're gone, bro, they throw you out almost.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like disgust. Like, yo, bro, like where's my like no respect? Like get out of here and like slam the door behind you. They don't care. Like you're out in the cold, like the like, bro. It's like yo.
There's enough people that just go and like steal a car right after they get released. Because like again, I'm not like condoning it, but like, what are you gonna do? You have no money, you have no support system because maybe you're an addict. You know what I mean?
They literally throw you out. Yeah,
they literally just throw you out. And
Yeah,
you're just
I mean, thank God
and
I'm not in that situation. But I was just like the average person. Like we're tough men. Like I'm a tough mother effort,
Yeah.
right? I'm a tough dude, and like I was doing like 300 push-ups in the holding cell, but
Yeah.
I was sweating in minus 40 in there. Like I was
Yeah,
sweating, and guys were like, "Oh," like all you hear in the holding cell is like
Yeah,
teeth
freezing.
tittering, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was sweating. I didn't sleep. I ordered halal food and all that, but it's like the average person's already broken because the lights are on your face all night. They don't turn the lights off.
They do that even in Provincial, even in Maplehurst. The lights on in your cell 24/7. They'll never turn it off.
So the whole time you're in Maplehurst,
Yeah.
it's like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
You're
if
kidding.
you cover it, like if like people, certain guards are nice and they don't really get at you because they understand. But there's a bunch of assholes.
Even at
guards
night,
that
it's
just-
all on.
it's
So
on.
how do you
If
sleep?
They dim it a tiny bit.
Yeah, so how do you sleep?
Put a t-shirt over.
But when
your
but doesn't
eyes.
that affect your eyes and
Yeah,
stuff?
100%. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, but like, so like you already, like some of these guys get broken, and bro, literally when they give you a release form, the moment they hand that, it's like, here's your form, get the F out. Like,
Yeah.
it's like they don't, like 2 minutes ago, the guy was nice to you,
Yeah.
and now he's like switch mode. It's like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah, yeah.
F you. Like,
So that's one thing that's like kind of good about the halfway house system is that a lot of people that are coming home from prison are coming home to nothing.
yeah.
So it gives them a home base to kind of.
So what are these halfway homes? Like, explain, like, so they're in residential neighborhoods, or like, where are they?
Yeah, so I went to the one in Hamilton. It was right on Emerald Street, right? There's like residential houses to the right and to the left of it.
Mhm.
It's like an old house converted.
And how many
into-
inmates are living with you in there?
Probably like 30.
30?
It's a big house.
Okay.
It's a big house. It's like sectioned into rooms and stuff like
Okay,
that.
and there's guards there too?
Like, they're not guards. They're halfway house staff.
Okay.
But yeah. There's staff members there.
And then what's the role of the halfway house?
You're supposed to get back on your feet. So
Okay.
it's a free place to stay while you find a job
Mm.
and all that kind of stuff. They feed you.
And the food there is okay or no?
It's okay. Yeah,
It's
not
better
bad.
than prison?
Yeah, way better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the food there wasn't too bad.
So
Yeah,
you're in the halfway house, and then so where's your journey from there to now? Like, so you're 2018, you come out, you're in the halfway house. Now what?
I got an apprenticeship for tattooing for like 2 months. The guy taught me like the basics, but he did a different style of tattooing. That's the only reason I didn't pursue it. Then I was just tattooing out of my apartment, friends and stuff like that. And then eventually started to get a little bit better.
Mhm.
I got into a shop in Ajax,
Mhm.
and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then so that shop shut down.
Yeah.
And then I was just tatting out of my condo at the time.
Yeah.
So that was.
And then fast forward now, like you are here today with your shop.
Yeah, so eventually I worked at another shop. After COVID, I worked at another shop, The Canvas. Shout out The Canvas. Shout out Daniel. That was a really good place. I was able to grow there. I was able to grow my clientele. So I met a lot of my like the Argos that I tattoo and stuff like that. They used to get it was a barber shop / tattoo shop.
Okay.
So a lot of the guys would get their hair cut there, and that's how I met them.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just wanted to be in control of my own workspace. I
Yeah.
wanted to work with people that I wanted to work with. I wanted to control the vibe. And so I decided to branch out on my own and open my own shop in, we opened February of 22. So
Okay.
almost of 23. So almost 2 years.
2 years, nice. And where is your shop located?
Girard and Broadview.
Okay.
Right downtown, Old Chinatown.
Okay. And what's your specialty? What makes you different?
I do black and gray realism.
Okay, and what is that? Because I'm a fob when it comes to
So,
tattoos. I'm a Muslim where my dad would
it's
dethrone me.
haram.
No, he would dethrone me. Like,
Yeah,
literally,
for
I can't look
sure,
at his
for
face.
sure.
Even though I would want to get a sleeve at some point in my life, I
No,
did
for
want
sure.
to. But even the thought of like showing my dad with like my sleeves
Of
done or
course.
whatever halfway through, it's like, nah.
I get it. Tattoos aren't for anybody
Yeah.
for everybody as
Yeah,
well.
but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm here to learn. So
No,
tell
for
me.
sure. So I do like anything that looks realistic. So portraits.
Okay.
I do like Greek statues a lot. I like to do like big sleeves.
And
like
you've done some
full-
famous people?
Yeah, I've done some athletes. A few rappers and stuff like that. But I honestly like. That aside, like it's nice to be able to meet like the Argos and stuff like that. But the coolest people that I meet are just everyday normal people.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like my normal clients. Like
So what would you say to a young man who's coming up, and when it comes to women and it comes to in today's world, the type of women that are out there and how men get into trouble, what advice would you give in all the things that you've seen as a former inmate, as a person who's went through that, and how many men have you seen in the system that ruined their life for a girl? Because there's statistics that 86% they say of men that are in there because of a woman.
So
right?
like I think we talked about this on the phone earlier.
Yeah.
Like even like the domestics aside, even that kind of stuff. Men's base motivations is usually to obtain women, right? So even if it's not the women that actually do, like you might have started selling drugs for status and money.
Is that what you did too?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably part of it. I grew up with no money, single mom, live in a basement apartment. The minute I sold a little bit of drugs and had a little money in my pocket and a little bit of respect from some people, and yeah, like girls also love bad boys, and so yeah, that probably was one of the subconscious motivators.
Okay.
But that's my point, is that like no matter what, everything's gonna boil down to like even if you're committing crimes for financial gain, that's still to gain status and money to find women.
Correct.
Or to attract women. You know what I mean? So a lot of that would boil down to trying to attract women.
How many guys are in there in the federal system in for a woman? Like let's say when it comes to domestic.
You'd have like for the federal system, some dudes have killed their wife.
Well, let's say not people that haven't killed their wives. Are there anybody else out there for other petty charges, like any kind of other type of charge?
I wouldn't say petty.
Yeah.
Like if you might be innocent, but the accusations were that you severely beat your wife or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying everyone's guilty of it, but you're not going to federal prison for like a mild domestic where you yelled at your wife, and you know what I mean? Like those dudes were at least accused of something pretty bad. Okay. Yeah.
And did you ever had conversation with some of those guys? Or like what led to that, or they couldn't control themselves, or what would you advise a young man dealing with a toxic woman today? A real woman.
Leave. It's never gonna end up. The minute they start to disrespect you and you seem like, it's never gonna work in your favor. Even if they hit you, and they're gonna blame you. You know what I mean? Like no matter.
Well, there's guys in our group, right? I can tell you, there's guys that have evidence on their phones of the woman actually abusing them and still calling the cops saying, oh, he hit me.
Yeah, of course.
He did that, making this whole thing, I'm afraid of him, this, that. And none of the stories match up. Here's the crazy part. They let them see the kids first for like a couple months. Yeah. And then they say, oh, I'm scared of that or something, or he breached. None of it makes sense.
No, for sure.
But what I'm trying to say is the society panders towards, you know.
Oh, yeah, they believe the women right away, and then you have to prove yourself prove your case in later. Court, right? Yeah, exactly.
I get it. But like, what would you advise, like, you know, being a man today, like, what are the dynamics of being a man today? What do you think young men, how should they live their life? A young person listening to this, coming up, or even a guy in his 30s, you know, who's made mistakes. What would be the message for him of how to hold yourself in a society that's predominantly against men, right? A society that does not look at men's rights.
No, you are correct. I'm just trying to think of like, just work on yourself. Like too many people, like, a lot of people don't work on their own self-growth and everything before they try and get into a relationship. Your relationship's not going to go well if you don't know who you are and you're not like comfortable with your own self. And yeah, a lot of guys, today's day and age is so bad too because of Instagram and everything. Every girl wants to be an Instagram model and all this. So I feel like I feel like Muslims have a little bit easier, to be honest, because the average Muslim woman, a good Muslim woman, isn't trying to show herself on Instagram and become like an Instagram model.
You believe me or not, bro, there's a lot of them out there that have done crazy stuff. I know hijabis, bro. There's guys I know that are hijabis in the system right now. Like there's a guy I know, he's married for like maybe 20 years. Has 5 kids with a woman, hijabi. This is a sad part. Even a Muslim saying this, like, it's just sad. Like, this feminism's got there too, by the way. It's infiltrated our communities too. She goes to the cops when she wants to put him behind when they got separated. Says all these kids were born out of rape.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you imagine, like,
and keep having
like
kids,
saying that, like, even saying that, even like, and there's messages of her like sex talking the guy like for sure. But no, the accusations made.
No, for sure.
Guys in.
Well, they just know they have the power. That's one thing that
kind of
sucks.
But isn't that sad, bro?
Of course.
It's ridiculous, bro. And no one cares about this. Yeah. Right? So the reason why we started this thing and this mission, just to be blunt with you, like I was always told to do speaking, and a lot of my friends always said you should come out and talk, but I'm only a purpose-driven individual, right? And when I went in for whatever BS or whatever it was, and you know, me seeing how men were in there, and I was like, yo, someone's got to speak about this. And it took from one thing to the next and now we have lawyers reaching out, we have correctional officers reaching out, we have police officers that are going to come on this. So we have a big vision of what we're going with this, and I appreciate you coming out here, man.
Yeah,
one last thing you want to tell the audience Where can they find you? So if somebody's looking you up on Instagram, where can they find you?
Instagram, Fts.ink for the shop. For my own personal tattoo page, it's 50 Shades of Great with 2 T's, not gray, not the freaky boy 50 Shades of Gray, but 50 Shades of Great, and Fts.ink. And then my podcast is New Ink Hootis, both on Instagram and YouTube.
Adam, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.